Shivaya Namo, Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namo, Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namo, Shivaya Namo. Shivaya Namo, Shivaya Namo. Shivaya Namo, Shivaya Namo. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namo, Om Namah Shivaya. this ultimate spiritual vision, spiritual experience, darshan of your ancestors, your forefathers, was this firstly ultimate spiritual vision, all that is seen, heard, touched, tasted, touched or smelled of your ancestors, temporary, your forefathers, temporary, was this firstly ultimate spiritual vision, all that is seen, heard, phenomenal, touched, tasted, touched, no lasting permanency. It is not an enduring reality. It is a beginning and an end, ever changing. Okay? Everything here, seen and heard, temporary, impermanent, ashashvata, anitya. Therefore cannot be termed as the reality, because reality should always exist. It should always be there. That is the first doctrine proponent. Then, does it mean that I am also unreal? Fair question. If everything is temporary, everything is unreal, everything is transitory, subject to decay, what about me? The seer behind all seen things, the thinker behind all thought, the knower behind all things known. Here comes out the second central truth propounded by your great Upanishadic heritage, your wisdom treasure that you have inherited as citizen of Bharatavarsha. Second truth is, first truth is, transitive nature of all names and forms appears. Second truth is, your inherent divinity. You think yourself to be a human being, but in reality you are a divine being. Your human status is only a temporary outer covering. Behind it you shine as a center of divinity. You are divine. And to proclaim it, the Upanishads exist. Vyasa Maharshi, who did the great task and the inestimable service of putting down into black and white in a written form, so that it may not be lost, putting down in black and white, concretizing the timeless wisdom of the Upanishad. So much so, he got the title of Veda Vyasa. He went further and wrote the entire wisdom of the Upanishad into a very brief, concise set of sutras, which is called the Vedanta Sutras of Bhagavan Maharishi Veda Vyasa. They are also called Brahma Sutras. Then he followed it by writing 18 big treatises, khanda, 18 khanda, Ashtadasha khanda, to describe in a much easier way the subtle truths contained in your Upanishads. Through conversation, through analogy, through various narratives, putting them into interesting narrative, Drishtanta, Udarana, और प्रश्नोत्तरी, कई प्रकार के प्रसंगों को बना करके 18 पुराण द्वारा यही वेद के ज्ञान और उपनिषद की ब्रह्म ज्ञान को उन्होंने दिया है। 18 पुराण और महाभारत लिखा, भागवत महापुराण, महाभारत और अन्य कई संत आकर के इसी प्रकार से अनेक ज्ञान ग्रंथों को रचा करके हमारे ये जो सांस्कृतिक जो पूंजी हमने उज्ज्वल पूर्व से प्राप्त किया है उसको इतना ऐश्वर्यशाली बनाया। Successive generations, successive enlightened living souls gave their own version in another form, they gave the same central wisdom of Upanishads, the tensitiveness of all things seen and the essential divinity of man. And one of the greatest latter exponents of this great philosophy, who came in the Middle Ages, who flourished 1200 years ago, was Bhagavad Padacharya, Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, whose Dvadasha Shatabdi was celebrated 2 years back, all over India. Innumerable works he wrote. Vivek Chudamani, Atma Bodha, Tattva Bodha, Trintasya Vivek, and Panchikaran, so many other treatises he has written. And ultimately, he summed up all the wisdom teachings that he has given to us in a very, very brief couplet, wherein he gave these two central truths that you have inherited from your wisdom heritage. He said, listen, O man, in half a shloka, half a verse, I shall declare to you what has been expounded in innumerable hundreds and thousands of scriptures in volumes. And this is it. Shlokardhyena pravakshyami yaduktam grantha kotibhi. Kya hai? Brahma satyam, jagat mithya. The seen is not the real, the unseen is the real. Because it has always existed. It is timeless, transcending all time and space and all categories, beginningless and endless, anadi, ananta, tattva. He alone is real. Brahma satyam, that alone is real. Jagat mithya. And you individual soul, in reality, you are no other in essential nature than Brahman itself. Jivo brahmaiva naparaha. Brahma satyam jagat mithya, jivo brahmaiva naparaha. This is your heritage. The very central truth expounded by your philosophy, by your darshan, by your lofty wisdom heritage that you have inherited as a praja of Bharatavarsha, for being well reflected upon, constantly meditated upon, and being absorbed into your very consciousness as a living experience. I am divine. I am an amsha of Paramatma. An amsha is no different from the Adi, the whole, and I am therefore divine. Paramatma is infinite divinity. I am an amsha of Paramatma. Jivatma is an amsha of Paramatma. I am divine. In me, there in her, a full recognition and a full experience of the central truth of your being, that you are divine. What does divinity imply? Divinity implies all that is auspicious and blessed. Divinity implies infinite love, infinite compassion, infinite kindness, infinite purity, infinite wisdom, infinite strength, infinite courage, infinite beauty. Satyam, Shivam. And that great message, that great teaching, that great admonition, which is called the Gita Jnanopadesh, brings this truth to us at the very commencement, at the very beginning. In the second chapter itself, Bhagavan gives to you a knowledge of your identity. He says you are unborn, eternal, permanent, unaffected whether the body is alive or not. You are ancient. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. O man, thou art ajaha, janmarahita, nitya, permanent, shashvata, eternal. And na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Purana, ancient. Therefore, this is your heritage which you have inherited from your radiant, effulgent past. Claim your birthright. Do not be indifferent to feel that I am not a mere human being with all sorts of weaknesses and drawbacks and defects. I am within myself, in reality, an all perfect divine personality, divine center of consciousness. And whatever there may be a little imperfect, little weakness and all that is only not in me. It is in something that I have been provided by Prakriti, by Bhagavan, by Icha, in order to function upon this gross material plane. I have been given a gross material mechanism called the body, mind, psychology, intellect, etc. These are only my endowment, they are my instruments. I shine as a radiant source of light. I am divine. Nothing can touch me, nothing can alter my divinity because it is my reality. And these are only temporarily added factors. They are called in your Upanishads, in your philosophy, upadhi, a limiting adjunct, which is not part of your real self. It is not permanently yours. Temporarily it has been given to limit you in order to express yourself upon this limited plane bound by time and space. This, therefore, is the key to the solution of all problems. As long as you forget your divinity, you behave in undivine manner. There is a lot of possibility of your expressing something quite contrary to divinity, something which is alpa, something which is petty, something which is mean, small, not divinity, not divine. Therefore, this is your birthright. Claim this truth, I am divine. I am divine. Ahamatma, Ahamatma, Nirakara, Sarvavyapi Svabha, Ahamatma. Devanam, Jivanam. I am not this perishable cage of flesh and bone. This is to be meditated upon. You must always be established in this state of consciousness within. If you think of yourself as something small, something petty, something full of weaknesses, then you behave also. Vivekananda Swami used to say, weakness is the greatest sin. He is the father of all sins. Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. He said, what is strength? There is more than anything else. The sin of weakness should be got rid of. All other sins follow later on. Therefore, this jnana, this heritage of your own essential divinity, your real nature, that should always be firmly adhered to. That should be established in your heart. I am not this cage of flesh and bones. I am not this mind characterized by egoism and selfishness and anger and passion and greed and hatred and envy and jealousy, kam, krodh, lobh, moh, mada, matsarya, all these playground mind. I am beyond mind. These little imperfections of mind cannot touch me because I transcend it. I am shine supreme. I am not also this limited intellect. This intellect is very, very limited. Sometimes it serves you, sometimes it fails you in the nick of time. When you need it most, it fails. A learned warrior prince like Arjuna became totally deluded. He was very learned, very knowledgeable, Vidya Sampanna, yet his intellect became clouded. He lost his bearings, lost his intelligence. Therefore, he is an unreliable instrument. Therefore, neither body nor mind nor intellect can be your true self, because your true self is perfect. Divinity is perfect. There is no imperfection in it. Therefore, think deeply. I am not this cage of flesh and bones. I am not this little impure, vacillating, restless mind, chanchal, ashanta, manas. No, I am not this. Not even this little intellect. Limited intellect, finite. It can only function in terms of name and form, recollection. I am beyond body, mind and intellect. I am a center of consciousness. What is my nature? What is my nature? What are you as the center of consciousness? How can I know? I have not studied philosophy. I do not know Sanskrit. I have not gone and made a guru and tried to do Veda Adhyayan. I said, all these things are not necessary. There are some basic fundamentals which are axiomatic. They are swatas siddha. Doesn't require great erudition and scientific knowledge and all logic and all that to know. For example, one thing all of you know, without having applied for an admission into university and taken a course in philosophy, all of you know. What is it which something everyone in this world knows? Can someone of you tell me? Anyone? We are rich in philosophical heritage. Therefore, for us to know this may be sahaj. But why to speak of us? Even people in such lands where this rich heritage of philosophy is not there, whether it is in Japan or China or Africa or any African country, whether it is Sudan or Libya or Morocco or Saudi Arabia or Egypt or Jordan or France or Belgium or Netherlands or Spain or Portugal or anywhere in this world, Indonesia, Malaysia and Philippines and anywhere in this world, there is something which everyone knows without being a philosopher, without having attended Upanishadic class. Without being a philosopher, without being taught. Have you ever thought about it? Anji? Well, about oneself. About what? He exists or she exists. Everyone knows, I am. अपना अस्तित्व के बारे में किसी में अज्ञान नहीं है, किसी को भी अज्ञान नहीं है, सब जानता है मैं हूं, बोलना नहीं पड़ता है. One does not require some even an unlettered, remotest village, maybe in Central Africa, they call it the darkened continent, they call it, everyone knows. Where there is ability to think, one knows I exist. One does not have to be told. One does not have to learn philosophy. I am. Everyone asserts it, affirms it. And what is more wonderful and what is more funny is, even if all the world were to get up and tell you, hey, you don't exist, do you think anyone will agree with you? Hey, chal. I know, you don't have to, I don't care what you think. I know I am. Because I am. Swata siddha, a jnana, axiomatic. Everyone knows I exist. This is the eternal tattva, universal tattva. Existence. Sat. Everyone is Sat. Everyone is aware of being. Everyone knows of one's own existence. Does not have to be told. So, this is something which is knowledge within the knowledge of everyone. Follows automatically from this is, if you are aware that you exist, it means your existence is also qualified and characterized by awareness. It is not a shunya astitva. It is not a astitva that is devoid of awareness. It is chetana yukta astitva. Therefore, one is also chit swarup. Chetana is there, awareness is there, consciousness is there. You are conscious I am existing. Therefore, you are able to assert I exist. Therefore, being and consciousness, existence and awareness are two irreducible factors which is the common experience of all beings that exist in this world. All human beings possess this two irreducible, minimal factors of experience, principles of experience. I am and I know that I am, therefore I am Sat and I am Chit. Now, consider for a while, if your interior was in a state only of being aware of your existence, simple awareness, not qualified by any other condition, then that simple awareness necessarily follows not being qualified by any other conditioning factor. It is peace. It is shanti. It is not disturbed by anything. It is a state of great peace. And this peace, if deeply analyzed, is the quintessence of bliss, quintessence of ananda, quintessence of pure sukha. Why? Because being pristine and being pure, being not qualified by any other mode, this state is totally devoid of the entire range of human experience with people who are bound in this world or constantly undergoing every day from the moment of waking into wakefulness until they go back once again into Supta Avastha. Every day, every human being is undergoing now laughing, now weeping, now harsha, now shoka, now sukha, now dukkha, and always in a state of ashanti, agitation, tension, yes, anxiety, tension, fear complex, so many types of neurosis. All these medley of experience that normally form the contents of the average individual's experience every day. Fear, worry, anxiety, doubt, confusion, vacillation, hesitation, all different states. Disappointment, disillusionment, nirasha, hopelessness, despair, all these experiences and pain, suffering, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, heat, cold, hunger, thirst, discomfort, inconveniences, pain, all these pertain either to the physical dimension of your being or the psychological dimension of your being. They are either various mental experiences or physical experiences. Therefore, the entire range of experiences that constitute normal human experience in this world, they are upon the body, a name and a form and a person with a birth, age, weight, height, all these upadis, these qualifications, these limiting conditions are not there. You are in your Nijaswarupa, your Kevala Avastha. In that Kevala Avastha, you are only aware, I exist and I am aware of my existence, I am consciousness. This is the innermost content of your Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupa Atma Tattva. That being, therefore, the subtle level of your spiritual, dimension of your being, spiritual identity, the lesser and the lower and the grosser, the earth dimension of experience, dare not approach it. It has no access to it. It is far below of a much grosser, denser dimension. Therefore, that pristine state of absolute pure consciousness is unaffected, undisturbed, and not in anywhere, not in any wise bothered by the entire range of known human experience in this world. Therefore, it has to be a state where there is no shok, where there is no chinta, where there is no dukh, where there is no bhaya, where there is no bandhan, where there is no asha, sparsh, where there is no trishna. See, it is a state of the distilled quintessence of pure bliss. This much does not require any Sanskrit knowledge, any logic, any deep study in philosophy. Nothing. You are aware, you exist, and in that state of pure awareness, no other experience can intrude. You are in a state of Shanti and Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda is therefore your permanent, unalterable, unalienable real nature. This is what you have inherited from your great Upanishadic philosophical heritage. The central Ghoshana, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha, is tatkalik, limited, individual human identity is only a little part of the victory over life. Nothing can touch you, nothing can affect you, nothing can agitate you. Be Sakshi Chaitanya. Witness. See what is happening in the mind, in the body. But you be a mere witness of it. This is skill. This is wisdom. This is what you have inherited from the great, effulgent past of your country. And now we come to realize. Gurudev said in his little wisdom teachings of Gurudev. In the beginning, your understanding and your intellect has received and to some extent grasped the words of Swami this evening. This is my Vaishaki Bhet, Prem Bhet. Your buddhi has been able to receive it. Your buddhi has been able to understand the language. If you reflect over standing, you'll be able to enter into an understanding of what it implies, its implication, its marmik artha, gudha artha, sukshma artha, by reflecting and by going over the various arguments that I will put before you. Yes, indeed. Which may exist for 1,000 years but not have any awareness. I am conscious that I am, therefore I am Chit. And in that pure state of being and consciousness, existence, awareness, I am full of peace and joy because nothing has access to this dimension of my being. I am Sat Chidananda Atma, beyond body, mind and intellect. beyond even this little temporary false ego, the human ego of the human individual personality consciousness. I am beyond that. My ego is divine ego. I am an amsha of Paramatma. This thing you can understand. And to some extent you may be able to feel. But that is not enough. Because mind is a great tyrant. Mind and intellect, after you leave Suchana Bhavan and go home, it will attack you, invade you like anything. All the various raga, dveshas and various vikritis of this prakriti of mind, all these vikritis will come. When supper is delayed, you lose your temper. The little things will put you out of your balance. So soon, the divine awareness will be relegated to some corner. You will once again come down. It is a type of snake and ladders game. When that little thing reaches the head or mouth of a snake, down it comes to the tail. Once again, back to square one. That is Maya. That is Maya. You have to constantly counter Maya. Go on affirming your reality. Affirming. आपका जो आंतरिक दिव्यता की सत्य है उसका पुष्टिकरण करते ही जाने चाहिए. भूलना नहीं चाहिए उसको. Go on affirming your reality, affirming your true nature. I am that which weapons cannot cleave or injure, fire cannot burn, water cannot wet, wind cannot dry. I am that eternal reality. Within this non-eternal body, I am the timeless being, beyond time and space, unborn, beyond name and form, birthless and deathless. Go on affirming this. Go on affirming it. Always, by bell book and candlelight. This is abhyasa. This is sadhana. This is Vedanta, Swamiji. I am not a Vedanti, I am a Bhakta. What does it matter? Even if you are a Bhakta, you know that Jivatma is an amsha of Paramatma. I call me Bhagavan, Mata, Pita. You are Tvameva Mata, Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhusta Sakat Tvameva. When you affirm your relationship to God as father, mother, everything, and you are his son, you are his santan, then how can you be different from him? See? A human being can produce only a human child. See? Cow can only produce a calf. Dog can only produce a puppy. A cat can only produce a kitten. Mango tree can only produce a mango. Apple tree can only produce an apple. And God, your Mata Pita God can only produce a Divya, Santan. Not anything that is devoid of divinity. Impossible. It is logically impossible. It is irrational to think you could be anything else other than God. When you call him your Mata Pita. So leave off Vedanta, take to Bhakti, Dvaita Bhava. Even then, the Bhakta never says he is unrelated to God. On the contrary, Bhakta constantly affirms his relation to, and how very nikata sambandha. Pita or putra ki sambandha, mata or putra ki sambandha. The sambandha of son to parents. When that is so, you have to be what your parent is. God cannot produce an undivine issue, an offspring or a son or a child. Therefore, you are filled with the divinity of God in your essential nature. उस दिव्यता से आपका अस्तित्व ओतप्रोत है क्योंकि उस दिव्यता से डायरेक्ट आपकी घनिष्ठ संबंध है, अटूट अखंड आपकी संबंध है और of the most intimate nature, like child to its parents. So Dvaita or Advaita, Bhakti or Vedanta, divinity of man can never be contradicted, never be altered. It is a central fact experienced by your great sages and seers, ancestors, and they declare it there itself. Shrunvantu sarve amritasya putraha, O children of immortality. You are not children of birth and death. You are not creatures of birth and death. Children of immortality. That is what you are. Claim your birthright. Hold on to this truth. Constantly affirm it. Do not allow the maya of the mind to cover it up, to deprive you of it. Say, no, I will not forget it. Now I have been awakened. I will not go back into sleep. हाँ अज्ञान निंद्रा से जब जागृति हमारे अंदर आ गया है, मैं अभी पहचानता हूँ मैं कौन हूँ, पुनः थोड़ा ही मैं जा करके पुनः सो जाऊँ. No, I refuse to go back once again into that dull stupor of slumber of ignorance, slumber of self-forgetfulness. No, never it shall be. Like that, be determined. Uttishthata, Jagrata, Prapya Varannikodha. That is the great rousing call of your ancestors, your forefathers, your Purvaja to you. Now answer that call. That is your birthright. Yes, I have heard your call, O ancient Upanishad rishis, my ancestors, from whom I trace my descent. Now I shall never go back into slumber again. आश्वासन देता हूँ, पुनः मैं निंद्रा में नहीं जाऊँगा, अज्ञान की निंद्रा में नहीं जाऊँगा, जागृत हो गया. That is how you must respond. That call is ever present. And upon this Makarshan, upon this Vaishakhi Shankranti day, I once again ask you to wake up, stand up, be Jagrata, and attain illumination and wisdom. Thus become free, liberate yourself. Thus liberate yourself. But Abhyasa is necessary. Atuta Akhanda Abhyasa. You should not leave this Abhyasa even for a single day. Therefore, Swadhyaya is of great help. If you constantly, every day, just as you give roti, dal, chawal, tarkari for this perishable human body, physical body, and you give talim, vidyabhyas to your mind, you must give this spiritual nourishment to your own inner soul in the form of jnana, through swadhyaya, jnana, Gita, Upanishad, Ramayana, Bhagavad. All these things you should do swadhyaya. And sit in satsang and hear wisdom teachings. Then also light goes into your interior and banishes the darkness of avidya and ajnana, gives you once again awareness of your consciousness, awareness of the real nature. Thus every day proceed further, from darkness to light, from passing unrealities of this world appearance to that great, eternal, unchanging reality that is Brahman, that is your source, that is your cosmic origin, that is your support even now, at this moment. आपके support है, substratum है. Everything is upheld by Brahman, supported by Brahman. It is your beginning, it's your middle, it's your end. Aham atma hudakesha sarvabhuta ashaya sthita. Aham adischa madhyamcha bhutanam antamevacha. Aham adischa madhyamcha bhutanam antamevacha. Therefore, be aware of the Supreme Being, the Brahma Tattva. Affirm your reality. Make your whole life a constant movement, upward movement, towards that light of lights beyond all darkness. Jyotisham apitat jyoti tamasap paramuchyate. Towards that light of light beyond all darkness, every day march forward. Rise upward, let your life be a constant ascent of your innermost spirit towards the cosmic spirit, which is your source and origin. Let that be your life. ऊर्ध्वगामी दिशा को प्रदान करना आपके जीवन के लिए. Never forget this truth. Never forget this great reality. And you have to be up and doing. You should not say, I will do it afterwards. That afterwards is a very treacherous word. It is the maya of your mind. Afterwards will never come. जब चिड़िया न खेती चुग डाली फिर पछताते क्या होता है. Therefore, now is the time. Now is the time. This is the proper place to become constantly well settled in self-awareness, in God-awareness. And it is not difficult, it is easy. Because it is a fact. You don't have to do great yogic exercise and great japa and dhyan and great study in philosophy to remember that you are a human being and not fall into the error of thinking yourself to be a monkey or donkey. No one has to be constantly doing some sadhana to remember I am a human being. Why? Because he is sad. It is the truth. It is the fact. Therefore, a fact does not need much exertion and endeavor to be kept in consciousness. Now I am telling you the greater fact. Beyond humanity is your divinity. That is a greater truth. Humanity, when it was, जितने आप अभी यहाँ पर उस सूचना भवन में बैठे हैं, did any single one of you exist 100 years back? Were you here in this world? Were you here in this Manav Samaj? You did not exist as a human being. So your human status is only a tatkalika part, it did not exist before. And how many of you will be still existing, say after another 75 or 80 years? कोई भी रहेंगे यहाँ, no one will be there. None of you will be present in this world. Okay? So, what price your so-called human status which is tyrannizing over you? It is only a temporary, a momentary appearance, like lightning in a cloud. पहले भी नहीं रहा, बाद में नहीं रहा, इसका क्या बड़ा सच्चाई? Do you realize that your so-called human status did not exist sometime before? After some time it is not going to exist. Therefore, your divinity is the greater truth, greater fact. And how much more easier it must be in order to be aware of that. See? Before you were born as a human being, you were what you are, divine, part of God. After this human status vanishes away, you will be what you are, part of God, divine. Therefore, उसकी उपासना करना चाहिए. जल्दी करो, देर मत करो, क्यों कहते हैं? Because as I am talking, and as you are listening, time is rapidly flying away, flowing like a swift stream under the archway of a bridge. Time rapidly flies away. Life is short, time flies away. Therefore, you must be up and doing in this path of God realization. Otherwise, no one is going to help you. Time and tide wait for no man. With every swasa praswas, tick, tick, tick of the clock, और आयु क्षीण होता है. इसलिए जो मुख्य कार्य, मुख्य कर्तव्य, मुख्य मानव धर्म जिसके वास्ते आप यहाँ आए हैं, उसको हम भूल करके पोस्टपोन करें, क्या समय आपके लिए स्टैंड स्टिल करेगा? Therefore someone said, कालक्षेपो न कर्तव्यः क्षीणमायु क्षणे क्षणे यमस्य करुणा नास्ति कर्तव्यम हरि कीर्तनम्. Therefore it is that Kabir Das said, जो कल करे वो आज कल, जो आज करे जो अब. That which you may do tomorrow, why not do it today? That which can be done before evening or night today, why not do it right now? Why? Because every moment your life is ebbing away. The so-called life is nothing but a steady march towards the antim ghadi. It is only a march towards death, which is sure and certain. एक दिन तो सब जाना है. हमारा सज्जन बोला, what is that great thing everyone knows, everyone is aware of, does not need to be told, is one day we have to go away. But it is not so easily known by others. All people do not know it. They think I am Shashwata. That is why Yaksha was very highly pleased. परमाश्चर्य क्या है युधिष्ठिर, धर्मपुत्र इस मानव लोक में? ऐसा यक्ष जब प्रश्न किया, युधिष्ठिर कहते हैं परमाश्चर्य यही है. हर मानव देखता है कि चारों रोज सैकड़ों आदमी मृत्यु के मुख में आकर के चले जा रहे हैं. कभी भी वो नहीं सोचता है कि मैं भी एक दिन ऐसा जाना है. कोई भी ये अवेयरनेस को नहीं रखता है, एक दिन मैं भी जाना है. दैट इज माया. दिस इज परमाश्चर्य. Yaksha agrees with him. Yes, yes, rightly have you observed human nature, human varta. Therefore, we must be up and doing in this path of self-discovery, self-experience. That alone can liberate us once and for all from all the sorrows and pains and sufferings that are incumbent in this little prapanch, samsaric life. This is full of tapatraya. Every great sage and saint has declared this samsara to be real of tears. Buddha saw the whole world like a burning ball of iron, hot inside, hot outside, white hot. Cannot touch it. He said, everyone is being fried in sorrow, pain, suffering, grief. He saw it. And so he said, no, I must find out some way of liberating human beings from sorrow and suffering. Thus, he undertook his great renunciation. All the sages and seers have drawn our attention to this truth. Janma dukham jara dukham jaya dukham purapana samsara sagaram dukham tasmat jagrati jagrati dukkhalayam ashashvatam anityam asukham. All these things have been declared by the great teachers. No one guarantees happiness here, devoid of happiness. Therefore, we have to see that we should not delay our liberation. We should not delay our bondage unnecessarily. We should not go away in this state of ignorance so that we have to come again. No. In this very life, in this very body, in this very incarnation, we must attain wisdom and become Jivan Muktas. We must attain liberation even when we are living. That is wisdom. That is what an intelligent human being must do. This heritage I give to you today. Be up and doing upon the path of spiritual sadhana. Do not waste time. Attend to your duties, fulfill your obligations, do all what the Vyavaharik Jagat demand, but do not swerve from the path of righteousness and spiritual quest. Both these two are interconnected. Where there is spiritual quest, it becomes successful only where there is righteousness. And it is only upon the basis of righteousness one can attain the supreme experience. अध्यात्म को और धार्मिकता को हम अलग नहीं रख सकते हैं, अलग नहीं कर सकते हैं, दोनों को बने रखना पड़ेगा. इसलिए always be aware that the support and foundation of highest spiritual experience is righteousness. Make righteousness your greatest asset, your greatest treasure, your greatest friend, your greatest janma sathi. Then your japa, tapa, bhajan, bhakti will leap bounds. It will progress. You will become an illumined being in this very body, in this very life. Therefore, cultivate these two things very, very carefully. The righteousness of God and the quest after supreme wisdom and illumination. This is your heritage. This is the least that you can do to say thank you to God who has given you this human status with the power to think, feel and reason. No other creature in God's creation has the potential or ability to make this quest and attain this supreme culminating experience of a divine consciousness, divine perfection, which liberates you forever from all pains and sorrows and establishes you in a state of absolute peace and joy. To this end, intelligence and attention, sincerity and earnestness, with great perseverance and determination, apply yourself to inner life, spiritual sadhana. Give the due to the world outside. Do your duties. Fulfill your obligations. But forget not your real mission in life. You have a divine destiny to fulfill. This is secondary. That is primary. Most important. Both have to be combined. And if it is done, your secular life will benefit 100-fold. As you grow in spirituality and divinity, more and more beauty will come into your secular field of human activity. You will become a blessing to your contemporary society. Wherever you go, you will bring forth harmony, love and light. Your divinity will make itself felt. So you will move amidst mankind as a great blessing, as a purifying force, as a center of peace and joy and love. That is what you can do to benefit your contemporary scene and thus benefit all mankind. I conclude now by two things which I want you to carry with you in your heart. And as you go, do not fail to pick up your copy of whatever has been released here today. Because what I say in a few days, 50% of it will be lost in memory. Because mind acts as memory as well as forgetfulness. स्मृति और विस्मृति दोनों मन की धर्म है और विस्मृति इजीली आता है, लाइन ऑफ लीस्ट रेसिस्टेंस. सो ऐसे भूल जाएंगे, लेकिन इस साहित्य को ले गया तो यू बी इन अ पोजिशन टू परमानेंटली रिमेंबर दीज ग्रेट ट्रूथ्स. Therefore, take your copy. And I once again repeat the rousing call of the Upanishad in Gurudev's Shivai Shivanji's inimitable way. He also said what the ancient rishis said. Uttishthata Jagrata Prapta Paranya Bhuta, but he said it in a modern way, so that you will be able to appreciate it and grasp it. He said, is there not a nobler nation than eating, drinking and sleeping? Mere physical, biological activity does not constitute the whole of life. There is a nobler mission for you to fulfill. Is there not a nobler nation than eating, drinking and sleeping? It is difficult to get a human birth, therefore try your best to realize in this birth. 500 rest, woe to that man who wastes all his life in sensual pleasures. Time sweeps away kings and barons. Where is Yudhishthira? Where is Ashoka? Where is Valmiki? Where is Shakespeare? Where is Shivaji? Where is Napoleon? Where is Gandhiji? Where is Jinnah? Where is Hitler? Where is Mussolini? Where is Roosevelt? Where is Truman? All these people are two lines in a history page or obituary columns of a newspaper sometime. Therefore, everything is temporary, everything becomes solid by time. Tell me frankly, what have you learned from the two great global wars? How many millions of people were swept away into the jaws of death? What untold suffering and destruction. Magnitude of human suffering, has it dawned upon you? You have witnessed two great global wars within a short span of 30 years, 1914 to 1945. Have you got now real vairagya? Do you practice japa and meditation? Have you seen the amount of human suffering? How this life is, sharir is kshanabandha, nashwara. One war comes means thousands, millions pass away. Have you got now? Have your eyes open to discriminate? Are you filled with dispassion? Have you got now real dispassion? Do you practice Brahma Vichar? If not, how can you expect peace and joy? How can you expect Shanti? How can you expect real peace of mind if you waste your time in idle gossiping, in scandal and backbiting, in novels, newspapers, in fights and quarrels? How can you expect real Shanti if you waste your time in cards and smoking, in cinemas, restaurants, in radio, television, in all sorts of pursuits except pursuit of knowledge, God realization? How can you expect real Shanti if you waste your time in cards and smoking, in novels, newspapers, in cinemas, restaurants, in radio, television? If life goes away like that, when your throat is choked at the time of death, who will help you for your liberation? Therefore, O man, do not neglect your highest welfare. Awake. Be intent upon fulfilling your divine destiny. Be up and doing in yogic sadhana, you will attain immortality. Be up and doing in Brahma Vichar, you will attain supreme bliss. This is the song of admonition by which Gurudev repeated the ancient call of the Upanishads in a modern way. Adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto Thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient. Thou art Satchidananda. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptations and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, greed, hatred, anger and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever upon our lips. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Hari Om. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Jyotma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Peace unto all beings in this universe, and peace be unto you all. God bless you all. Remember, you have a divine destiny to fulfill, and that destiny is to realize fully your divinity, your true essential divine nature, your true identity, Nijaswarupa, and apply yourself diligently. Attend to both Prapancha and Paramartha. God bless you all success in your righteous endeavors to fulfill the duties of your life. And God bless you in full success upon your spiritual path in your life. I thank all the Devasthapas for having given me this opportunity of being amidst you this evening and offering this little service in the name of the Holy Master. Bol Jagannath Bhagavan ki jai, Bharat Mata ki jai, Satguru Shivananda Maharaj ki jai. Hari Om Narayan.
Guru Chidananda Swami ki jai. Guru Swami Shivananda Maharaj ki jai.